Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still laughing at this Trump rally gong show that again proves all the money in the world can't buy cool.
Honestly, I hated this South African American until he gave me a lot of money. I love money, power, and Ivanka. She's so hot.
Yeah, just because Van Halen wants you to jump doesn't mean you always should. Also, there's just that little bit of Pope glass there. You're wide open, going to and from the stage. I mean, this is just theatrical safety. Huge news this week that the vertical family tree MAGA Gravy Seal patriots will ignore like soap in science. There wasn't just Russia collusion, there is still Russia collusion. According to Bob Woodward, the Watergate guy, Trump has kept a private dialogue with Vladimir Putin since leaving office. Trump has repeatedly defended Putin's invasion of Ukraine, calling him a genius, while pushing Republicans to fight against sending aid to Ukraine. In one scene, Woodward recounts a moment at Mar-a-Lago where Trump tells a senior aide to leave the room so he could have what he said was a private phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to Trump's aide, there have been multiple phone calls between Trump and Putin, maybe as many as 7 in the period since Trump left the White House in 2021. This is a guy with heaps of top secret and classified documents at his private residence that's actually a members club with zero vetting other than, you got the money? You got the money? Trump's campaign is going full Titan sub and released this statement. None of these made-up stories by Bob Woodward are true and are the work of a truly demented and deranged man who suffers from a debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome. Woodward is an angry little man and is clearly upset because President Trump is successfully suing him because of the unauthorized publishing of recordings he made previously. President Trump gave him absolutely no access for this trash book that either belongs in the bargain bin of the fiction section of a discount bookstore or used as toilet tissue. Woodward is a total sleazebag who has lost it mentally, and he's slow, lethargic, incompetent, and overall a boring person with no personality. Stephen Chung, Communications Director.
I wanted to ask you about Bob Woodward's new reporting, specifically about Trump and Putin's calls. Have you had conversations with the former president about his relationship with Putin and what those calls entailed?
I honestly didn't know that Bob Woodward was still alive until you just asked me that question. That's what little I know about Bob Woodward is that he is, I'm going to use a word here. He is a hack. The guy's a hack. So have I talked to Donald Trump about his calls with Vladimir Putin? No. I've never had that conversation with Donald Trump in my life.
Okay, first off, not denying that Trump's been talking to him. Also, Bob Woodward has written 40 books. After Watergate, his name became synonymous with investigative reporter, and maybe J.D. Vance casually forgets that Trump invited Bob to spend a lot of time with him. Woodward has hours of Trump recordings that eventually became his book Rage and another one, and says Trump is suing him for using his own words. I mean, on those 17 hours of tapes, Trump told Woodward COVID was 5 times more deadly than the flu, and that he liked playing it down. When Woodward asked him about white privilege and whether they should have more empathy for African Americans, Trump responded, "You really drank the Kool-Aid, didn't you? Just listen to you, wow. No, I don't feel that way at all." He also gave up military secrets, telling Woodward, "I have built a weapon system that nobody's ever had in this country before." And he went on to mention a super-duper missile. Again, this was all on tape because Trump wanted a book, not thinking for a second that he was exposing himself to a journalist known for being hypercritical of presidents, the one that took down Nixon. Bob's latest book not only shows that Trump was in communication with Putin, but that he supplied him with COVID tests while leaving supplies up to the states at a time when Americans were desperate to get them. He was also saying that testing was stupid and unnecessary. I'm not sure he said that to Putin. Putin urged Trump to not publicly reveal the gesture because it could damage the American president politically. "I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. Don't let them know you're ignoring your own people for Putin. They may not like that." Trump's ongoing dialogue with Putin raises questions about the Logan Act, a United States federal law that criminalizes the negotiation of a dispute between the United States and a foreign government by an unauthorized American citizen. You have a lazy golfer with a wealth of secrets talking to a dictator. Trump has been played by him for years. I've said many times, you think the guy that spent 14 years on NBC is going to outsmart the guy that spent 17 years in the KGB? Give me a break. There's no way that these calls were not recorded by Russia. The amount of leverage they have is unprecedented, and a reminder, Trump needs to remain unprecedented. Not a real word, but you get the point. I make this show 100% on my own thanks to you. If you love what I do, drop me a super thanks, consider leaving me a PayPal tip, or hit the join button to support what I do here. And now the Ultra MAGA guy is still frustrated with his Amazon devices. So let's just check in and see how he's handling things.
Hey Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump?
Because Donald Trump has concepts of a plan, just like you have concepts of a brain and concepts of a plan to treat your downtown sores.
Hey Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Because she has a long distinguished career of actually helping people, and you are the kind of guy that needs a lot of help. Take a look at yourself. This is insane. What a better way to own the libs than voting for her.
Hey Alexa, why should I not vote for Donald Trump?
Because even if someone calls themselves a patriot, trying to overturn a free and fair election, hiding stolen top-secret documents in his closet and playing chit-chat with Putin is a bit of a problem. He also takes dumps in his pants.
Hey Alexa, why should I not vote for Kamala Harris?
You refuse to eat vegetables and like to Netflix and chill with your cousin. I just had to put that out there.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. It's right here in our home.
I'm just saying what I see on the Echo Show by your crusty futon. Your Trump watch will never arrive.
I think the greatest birthday present to me this week wasn't my quick trip to Las Vegas, it was Tina Peters entering the found out phase. For those not up to speed, Basic County Clerk Tina Peters was convicted on multiple counts, including the tampering with voting equipment and spreading false claims of election fraud, part of a broader effort to undermine trust in the 2020 presidential election. This is someone that has been tight with Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, and Mike Lindell, who has had her appear at most of his major events. Now, if you haven't seen Judge Matthew Barrett sentencing Tina for 9 years, it is a treat. Here's a quick cut.
Your age, limited criminal history, and the like are certainly somewhat mitigating. Your ties to the community are what they are, but your reputation at this point is poor because of what you've done here and after. Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious. I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen. You don't have those histories of drug and alcohol abuse. There's no lifetime of trauma, not even close to the type of mitigating circumstances I would see from many folks who sit in that chair. No, to the contrary, Ms. Peters, you are a privileged person. You are as privileged as they come.
Tina Peters used Gerald Wood's ID badge to give access to an associate of Mike Lindell's to access election files. It's important to note that this man's life was ruined by the actions of Peters and Lindell, just like Ruby Freeman and Rudy Giuliani. Since his identity was stolen, people thought it was him that accessed the files, or that he was working with Tina, who has made a small fortune in donations, promotions, and a book deal, while he had his reputation destroyed for doing nothing.
And you use that privilege to obtain power, a following, and fame. And to be sure, there's no doubt in my mind that it's exactly what you wanted, and it defies all sense of common sense to believe when you suggested to me a few moments ago that you didn't want this attention. No, you crave it, ma'am. And there is no one in this courtroom who would consider that to be anything other than the absolute truth. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again. In your world, it's all about you. But at bottom, this case was about your corrupt conduct and how no one is above the law. No one in this country has absolute power. Your position as a clerk and recorder, a constitutional position, does not provide you with a means by which to do your own investigation, to not listen to the judiciary, to not listen to the executives higher than you, to not listen to the legislature who sets the law as it may be. This is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell.
Tina Peters turned off her office's security cameras, hacked election office computers with an unauthorized outside person. She never once went to any state investigator or law enforcement about her suspicions regarding the voting machines. She went to a pillow manufacturer addicted to the big lie, and his team assisted her so-called investigation to prove election fraud. You can't make this up.
You have no respect for the checks and balances of government. You have no respect for this court. You have no respect for law enforcement. And you do not have respect for your fellow colleagues when you were a clerk and recorder who weren't lockstep in your beliefs. You are a charlatan, and you cannot help but lie as easy it is for you to breathe. You betrayed your oath for no one other than you.
I like that he's really holding back here. Now he reads all the sentencing, guilty, guilty, guilty. But this next part makes me think of the old Apple announcements when Steve Jobs would show up at the end with the one more thing.
Anything I missed? Anything else we need to address?
Judge, I think you missed a sentencing on count 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Count 6 is criminal impersonation. That's also consecutive. That's 15 months to the Department of Corrections.
And the cost
So it's 8.5 years total, plus the 6 months for a total of 9 years of incarceration.
Just when you think your Elmer's glue skin couldn't get any pastier, you win a 9-year trip to prison. Good luck with that hour a week of sunlight. Again, there were a lot of victims in this trial, including those that sent and continue to send her money. She's a charlatan. They all are. TDS on display once again. MAGA tears. Kamala blew FEMA money on illegals and betrayed real Americans. Trump is our only hope. MAGA tears. No one cares what you have to say. Go away, Baldy. MAGA tears. Huge news this week that the vertical family tree MAGA gravy seal patriots will ignore like soap in science. According to Bob Woodward, the Watergate guy, Trump has kept a private dialogue with Trump's campaign is going full Titan slub about the Logan Act, a United States federal law that criminalizes the negotiation. I am tongue-tied today. Maybe I had a little bit too much fun on my birthday. I don't know. You know what she did? She went to a pillow manufacturer gone mad. Tom Selleck's slow cousin. That's who she called up. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. Enjoy jail, crazy lady.
I can confirm the Tommy Campbell Show is the best political comedy show on YouTube. And I hope you subscribe.